So electric vehicles, right, are in a lot of hype these days. Like it seems like every other person is buying an EV over conventional gas-powered vehicles, right? And EVs are not a magical solution. Many others have pointed out a lot of problems with electric vehicles, right? And that is first thing is pollution from manufacturing. Like while manufacturing an electric vehicle, there will be a lot of pollution, right? It is not like complete green manufacturing. So there will obviously be pollutions associated with the manufacturing of electric vehicles. Okay, and the second one is the metals used for electric vehicles, mainly lithium and cobalt. The mining of these metals, like it is very bad and harmful for the environment, and it causes a lot of pollution there. And the third one is especially cobalt mining in a country called Democratic Republic of Congo, that is an African country. And there the cobalt mining, it uses exploitative labor, okay, and it also uses child labor, and it has like very bad conditions for the workers. So that is one of the issue. And the other problem is that the electricity used to power these electric vehicles, okay, that could be coming from fossil fuels, like coal, natural gas and petroleum. So the electricity itself could be generated from the fossil fuels. So that just like negates what we were trying to achieve with EVs, that is prevent fossil fuel pollution. But when electricity itself is being generated from fossil fuels, like that defeats the purpose. And one of the other problem is the problem of recycling with the lithium ion batteries and a lot of e-waste that electric vehicles are going to generate at the end of their life. So these are the basic problems which like most of the others have also addressed. So yeah, but my problem with electric vehicles is like slightly different from all of these problems that are being addressed, right? So let me tell what is the problem that I have with the electric vehicles. Okay, so first thing is the electric vehicles or EVs are like damn very expensive, right? Like if these vehicles are not expensive at your region, it only means that your government is like heavily subsidizing these vehicles. So that could be the reason why you are getting like uh, not so expensive EVs. But other than that, EVs are like crazy expensive. Yeah, so that just means that only rich people can afford electric vehicles, right? Like poor people, they cannot afford such an expensive EV. uh, and even if your government is subsidizing electric vehicles, that could only be like done by the governments of rich countries, right? uh, Poor countries cannot afford to subsidize electric vehicles, and they have to deal with a lot of other problems by themselves. Yeah. So the thing is, either rich people or rich countries, right? Only they can afford electric vehicles, and while poor people will be uh, even by this measure will continue to like suffer from the pollution and other things, right? That EVs are trying to address. And the second thing, right, it's not like this pollution and environmental damage, like it will be like completely or even it is not like completely eliminated by electric vehicles. Like even if everybody on the earth and every vehicle on the earth, like it is replaced by an electric vehicle, we are like still gonna have pollution. Yeah, and like basically because of the reasons that I mentioned previously, right? So we are still gonna have the pollution. We had this problem with the uh, pollution and this environmental issues from many decades, and like we will continue to have it even after like EV adoption, like high EV penetration. Even after that, we are going to continue to have all these problems. But what is going to change, right? That is very important. Okay, like the places that are getting polluted. Okay, uh, while using conventional vehicles and while using electric vehicles, uh, the places that are getting polluted and the people that are getting affected due to this pollution is going to change. Like if we are using complete conventional vehicles on one side, like the regions, the places that get polluted will be cities and like where the vehicles are being used, right? The place of consumption of fossil fuels, that will be in cities, and it is going to affect like regular people, including the rich people who drive the conventional vehicles, right? But coming to the EV side of things, the rich people or those who like drive the vehicles, they are not going to affected by this pollution, right? Because like electricity generation is done far away, it is not done in cities, and mining is also not done in cities, and EVs are also not gonna generate any exhaust fumes. So it's so the rich people are not going to be affected by this pollution, and to compensate for that, like on the other part of the world or at the other part of the social spectrum, like non-rich people, or we can say the poor people, are going to be affected more. Okay, they will face more pollution, and more poor people will be affected because of the pollution, and also they cannot afford EVs, right? So yeah, that is also one of the factor which is going to cause more of the damage. So this just means that EVs, right? EVs, they are not gonna solve the problem of pollution. Like they are just shifting the pollution to somewhere else and onto some other people. So this is for me the biggest problem, like with electric vehicles. Uh, that they just shift the problems and burdens, like they just take the problem out of sight uh, for the rich people, but it's not gonna completely solve the issues. So this is the biggest problem that I think is with electric vehicles, right? It is not just a problem with EVs, right? Uh, for any kind of new technology or anything of a new concept, right? It will disproportionately benefit the rich people. Okay, and for poor people it will either benefit less, or it will be outright harmful for the poor people. We can like also include like rich countries here and poor countries here. uh, it will be very beneficial for the rich people and rich countries, and it will be less beneficial for poor people or poor countries, or it is outright very harmful and damaging to the poor people and poor countries. So EVs, they are just pushing the problem of pollution out of the sight, and to just like pretend that the problem doesn't exist, uh, like the problem of pollution and climate change, like it either it just to pretend that it doesn't exist, or to like it makes it easy to turn a blind eye uh, towards these problems of pollution and climate change. And so yeah, so that means that any technological advancements, right, any advancements in the technology, that will only increase the rate at which the inequality is being formed between the rich and the poor. Like it just increases the rate of the uh, inequality. Yeah, sorry about that noise. So, but yeah, so this increasing inequality will be a story for another video. So, yeah, so that is my problem with electric vehicles, that they just push the problem of pollution and climate change onto other people, and other countries, and it makes them easier to turn a blind eye towards these problems, and it also gives a false sense of hope and accomplishment that they actually did something to uh, towards these issues, which obviously they have not, right? So yeah, but I don't mean that. I don't really mean, like, I'm not telling you to not buy electric vehicles, right? Obviously, buy electric vehicles, like if it makes some financial sense to you. I mean, like if it helps you save more money, like if your gas prices are very expensive, and I'm really sorry about the noise. Like if your gas prices are very expensive, and EVs on the other hand, and if your electricity prices are less, and if you can actually save money on the spread between these two, obviously buy electric vehicles. But also remember that that doesn't mean EVs are better for the environment, right? Don't buy electric vehicles just to save environment and reduce pollution. Okay, that should be out of your like equation, out of the equation, and out of your decision making to buy an electric vehicles. Okay, yeah, thank you for your time. Bye.